Hello traders, in this video I want to speak about BTCUSD and I will make a technical analysis on this pair starting from weekly time frame. So first of all, when we look at BTC, we can see that price is currently trading at $82,804 level, and this is clearly a sign that price is making a significant pullback. So if we put in our trend line to determine the overall trend of this market, we can clearly see that the overall trend of this market remains bullish. But at the moment, we can clearly see that the trend line is already broken and is currently testing it. We can see after the break of the trend line here, we can clearly see that price is testing the broken trend line, which is turning it to a resistance, and we are seeing a pullback, which I anticipate further decline in this market. Okay, so what this simply means is that the buy orders that are sitting right below the $80,000 level is not holding. We can see that $80,000 level is a very significant support level. In fact, from here, all this move to the upside was created, and price tested that same zone. So buyers tend to push the market up, but they could not go any further, and reaching this previous trend line, price started declining again. So that means that the order that was absorbed here, or the pending buy orders here, is now back at the entry point. That means that the strength of buyers at the moment is not significant, so we can anticipate further drop in this market. And if that should happen, we can clearly anticipate price to drop lower, possibly to this previous previous resistance, which can now serve as a pullback support. So we see that from here, after price consolidated around this level, we saw this push to the upside, price pulled here, and right now price is pulling back again. So it can possibly drop back to that level. So the key level we have from the weekly time frame is the $70,000 level. So that's a level we can anticipate price to fall back to before we can see any form of rebound again in BTCUSD. So we've just identified our key level from the weekly time frame. And also, if I apply my moving average, now I use this moving average just to validate what I've just done. Okay, so I don't use it to make trading decisions, I only use it to validate analysis. So we can see that the 20 EMA price is testing and rejecting the 20 EMA, so that is a lower high. And after lower high, technically, what do we anticipate? A new low. So I anticipate a new low in this market, which will now align with the overall trend, which is still bullish, with the 200 EMA pointing up. So for the overall trend, we are still bullish, but in short term we are having a bearish trend. So the next thing I have to do now is to walk down my analysis to daily time frame. So let's look at the daily time frame. Here in the daily time frame, we can just watch out for pattern. So from the daily time frame, we can clearly see that this support level here is already broken. All right, it is already broken. Another significant thing we can see here is a head and shoulder pattern. Even though it is not significant, but I can spot the head and shoulder pattern, which we can see. This is the left shoulder. This was a pullback. This is the head. This is a pullback. This is the right shoulder, and price has broken. So this is a clear head and shoulder pattern. And anytime we see a head and shoulder pattern, we all know that we can just wait for a slight pullback to the neckline, and we will now do what? Short the market. Okay, and just to validate what I've just said with moving average, if I apply the moving average and we look at the 20 EMA, we can see that the 20 EMA moving average was moving bullish, and now the immediate trend is already broken, so we are now bearish. We can see that we are now bearish. We're now having a bearish like structure with the formation of a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low. So what do we anticipate? Just to fill in our order as a pullback, and we continue shorting to the downside. So this is where we now want to position ourselves for a sell. So for us to make the sell, we can clearly do that from our entry time frame, which is 1 hour. I prefer to use 1 hour or H4, so let's just go straight to 1 hour. Here from the 1 hour time frame, we can identify fair value gap. We can see this fair value gap here, so we can use this fair value gap right here as our entry zone. We see these two significant candle here is a fair value gap, so we can use that area as our point of interest where we want to sell. And just before that fair value gap, we can see this lower high here, which is liquidity. So what do I mean by liquidity? It just simply means that we have sellers right around that level. Okay, we have a sellers around there, and they're able to break the structure to the downside, as you can see here. So what I mean by break of structure is simply that they made a difference to the downside. So since they made a difference to the downside, it's a significant level, and it's also a sign that we have active sellers sitting above those pending orders. So here we have majority of orders that need to be filled, and that is why I anticipate price to do what? Pull back and first of all clear this first set of sellers and then tap into that zone, and from here I can just look for a potential sell signal and then short the market. And if I short the market, my first take profit target is here. I can have other take profit target down below here before we even get to the $69,000 level. So we have so many potential levels to take this price to. So that's the analysis on BTCUSD. So the swing trade I am taking in this market is gonna be from here. So my pending order will be above this $84,000 level. So I can just put it at 85,500. So psychological price that I'm willing to sell is 85,500. So that's where I am willing to sell, and I'll have my stop loss just above the fair value gap or slightly above the fair value gap. So I will be risking about 30 pips. I'll be risking about 30 pips with the potential profit return of just before the key level that we identified in the weekly time frame. So I have to label this line a key level. Key. So I have to label it key level, and I have to make the price a round number. So I'll put the price at 70,000. So this is it. So my take profit will just be below, just around 71k. So this is a clear this is a 1:46 risk to reward ratio. So it's a potential sale opportunity. So that's what we are waiting for in BTCUSD.